Hello there, friends. Happy. It is Lisa at Hand Stamped with Lisa Preto, and today is the kickoff of our Silly Old Bear Craft Along. So we are going to just be crafting along today. We are going to do 4 projects today. So some of you bought the Silly Old Bear kit, and so you have that at home. You were given the prep instructions, so you are ready to craft with me. If you did not get that, please feel free to watch and learn some really good techniques, to see some tricks and some tips. And if you are so inclined, you can still get the tutorial, so you could go ahead and make these on your own. So that is what we're going to hop right into today. Do apologize, I'm a little froggy. Allergies. Who knew at 60 you were going to get allergies for the first time in your life? But here we are. So I'm a little froggy, so I'm going to drink a little tea as we go through. But I've got 4 super darling projects. They were done with my friends Julie Bowden. Julie Bowden's an actress. She was not part of this. And I'm cracking myself up. Lisa Bowden, Julie Selva, and Rosemary Gonzalez. So we were all part of creating the 12 projects for this. So we're going to do 4 cards today, which will leave us with 4 more cards and then 4 3Ds. And so I'm coming to you live today. I will also be here Thursday at 3 and Friday at 3, so we can get all of this done. If you have questions on these, please reach out, but I'm going to show you the products that we're going to be crafting with, and then we're going to start working our way through the projects. This will be on YouTube later today at Hand Stamped with Lisa Preto. Really good place to get all of the information on any of the projects that I share. Just know that everything will be much more complete there. So let's start crafting along, shall we? Beautiful picture of my tea. All right, so let's talk about what we're going to be crafting with. So the Silly Old Bear Suite comes with 2 stamp sets, 2 sets of dies, an embossing folder, designer series paper, the whole shebang. So let me show you what this looks like. So this is the first stamp set and die. So you can stamp all of these sweet little creatures. Hello there, Silly Old Bear and friends. And then there are dies to go along with that. And then let's go here. This is stamp set here that has all of your greetings and your words on it, along with 2 really beautiful embellishments, and then the die cuts for that as well. So that is part of it. And then this is an embossing folder. It actually sits this way, and that is the 100 Acre Wood. I do not know what Stampin' Up! Did to get the rights to this. I'm so curious. Is anybody else like super curious about that? Very curious. But I'm also very excited about it. So let's go. We're going to start with our first project here. I do have my full color. Look at this. I don't have it in full color, but there is a 26-page PDF with photos and all the things. And so this is the first time I'll be crafting some of these projects. Feels like a little bit of a stretch. I don't know if that was a good idea, but we are all here for it, aren't we? So all of your projects came in a white envelope with a little note on what we were doing. And like I said, we wanted to make sure that you die cut everything ahead of time, so that way you could just craft along and not be stuck behind, right? So we're going to take all of those out. Envelope, good to use for anything else. Also, if you actually want to send this card, that would be great as well. So this is card 1. So let me get that out of there. We're going to organize our pieces here. And you can see we did some die cutting already. So make sure we've got all of those. A little piece of white. I feel like I need one more thing in here. Let's see what we got. Let's see if there's anything hanging out. Oh, I knew it. We had a couple more leaves. So the die cuts for us to start on this is going to be this image right here that we die cut out of the designer series paper. We also have Pooh and his best friend Piglet, so we have that right there. And then we have some leaves that we did, and this is in Peaceful Pine and Early Espresso. And then we have another, put it like this here. I just die cut my Peaceful Pines right out of the middle of here because we're going to cover that up, and so why not give ourselves a little twofer and make it easy. So those are the pieces that we die cut ahead of time. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our card base and we're going to fold it just like you normally would. Again, apologies for that. So we're going to take our card base, fold it. And what the directions tell you to do is you're going to fold it backward. All that means is that the flap is going to be on the right side and it's going to open this way. So when you think of there's really no such thing as folding a card backwards, right? Because I mean, even if you fold it this way, it's still the same card. So you're just going to fold it in half, tip it so that this is on that far side. So we're going to take that and set that aside. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take that other piece of cardstock that you had in there, and this is the it could either be basic beige or a crumb cake, and so we're just going to take that, and this is where we're going to get a little bit fancy with this, okay? And so we're going to take this and we are going to make some marks. So a pencil and a ruler works really, really well here. So let me show you. The easiest way for me to do it for you is just to kind of show you what we're doing. So we're going to take this image. We need it to be vertical, so we want it top here, and we're going to put it in and we are going to score it at 3/4. Now here's the thing, we have to flip it around, because what we're going to do is we're going to create a really fun little flap. So you're going to flip it around and you're going to score that at 3/4. And all that's going to do is it's going to create a nice little flap for our card. And so we can just fold that just like that. Now what we need to do is we need to find the middle of this piece. And so this piece sits 5.5, right? So if we look at this, it is 5.5. Make sure I'm facing it the right way. You want your trees so that the trees are on the top and we get it going the right way there. So we're going to come in and take a peek here at this. Oh, let's see here. 5.5. So we know the middle of 5.5 is 2 3/4. Okay, so I'm just going to make my nice little pencil mark there, which you're going to barely be able to see once we are done with this. Let me just change my, say a little prayer here. This doesn't go all wonky, but I feel like we need a little bit better light on that. I think that's much better. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to come on this side and we're going to come in a 1/2 inch. We're going to make that at the top, and we're also going to make it at the bottom, that 1/2 inch. Now you could do this right on your cutter, but I feel like this just gives us a little bit better starting point, so that when we take it to the cutter, I think it'll make a lot more sense. I think it'll make it easier for you. So when we take that to the cutter, what we're doing is we're looking at this, and we need to cut from here to here and here to here. So we're going to open that up. We're going to open our cutter up, and I'm going to put the point right here, and then I'm just going to even that out so it goes, so that those two pencil marks meet up together. And we're going to go ahead and cut that. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to get our point in, and we're going to find that little pencil mark. See, isn't it so much easier that we just took the ruler to it rather than made it really tricky? I think that would have been really, really tricky to try and finagle the measuring and the cutting all at once. I think that is going to be much, much easier for you. So we've got that really nice, and this is going to be the fancy part of the card. So just know that ahead of time. That is going to be the fancy part of our card. And so we've got that. So yay for us. We have step number 1 completed. And I did put mine through with the embossing folder first. I think it just depends on how you want to do it. You could do it either way. You could emboss it first and then cut it, or cut it and then emboss it. I don't think it really is going to make too big of a difference. So we're going to come back here and we're going to take our card, and what we're going to do is we're going to tape this piece that has this little flap here. We're going to put that on the back of this card. Okay, so it's going to sit like this. And so we need to put our adhesive right along this line here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take my adhesive, just give myself a really nice line of that, and then this is just going to go right here. And again, this is going to be that fancy part of this card that's going to make it oh so cute. All right, so that's going to go right there. This, we need to put a little zhuzh on, and so we're going to go with the piece of Designer Series paper. And so this is the one that is the beautiful hydrangea hue, and it has all of those little Pooh and Friends walking in a line, and that's just going to be attached to the front part. So again, we'll take our adhesive, and go right here. And so this one is going to go right here. I will say the craft along, very easy when you have done all the work ahead of time. When you have everything die cut for yourself, it will make your life so much easier. So we've got that just like that. All right, and we're going to go here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make that little focal point. And so what we have is we have our really sweet poo, and we have that piece of early espresso, and we're just going to layer those right on each other. So I'm going to turn the little poo over, and look at that pretty gingham on the back. It is so beautiful. I will say I knew immediately when this, when we saw this kit, I knew immediately that I had to have it. But then as I started working with it, I'm like, it's actually even cuter in person than I thought it was going to be. So I was a little shocked by that. I was like, oh my gosh, it is really, really good. All right, so we've got that little guy there. Make sure I'm doing all my things right. All right, we are going to come and we are going to attach poo. Now this is the tricky part. We are going to attach poo right here. When we attach him, we're only going to attach him here because this has to flip out, right? Do you see that? If we attach this all the way, we wouldn't be able to get that really fun envelope fold. So I'm going to put poo all the way over to this corner, and I'm going to kind of use this mark here as my mark of where I'm going to start putting my adhesive. And I am going to come in with some dimensionals here because I think by giving him that little bit of a lift, I think it'll make that envelope flap even more fun to play with. A little bit easier, a little bit more interactive when you've got that little bit of a raised part. So we're just going to put this here, and I'm going to put this one here, and we're going to put this one here. All right, so this is what we're going to use so that we only attach our sweet little poo to this one side. And so again, we're just going to get it kind of centered there. Perfect. And then do you see how this is going to open up? Really cute. So that is the key to making sure that that is going to be able to open up and be so super darling. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a couple of our leaves that we did. Now this is kind of one of the fun things of doing this with other people. If you guys have stamped with me, you know that I am not a fussy girl. I am not a fussy girl. These little leaves here would probably sit undone for eons. I would not, I probably would have done absolutely nothing with them. That's just my MO on those kinds of things. I like things that are a little bit bigger, a little bit bolder pieces. Not to say that I don't love it. Like I love this when it's done. I just would be like, ooh, that looks fussy. I don't think I'm going to do that. Which is just the joy of having someone else create for you sometimes, because you do things that are just a little bit different. And I really, really like that. I'm a big fan of that. We've got a little piece of white here, so I put one of my leaves up top, and we have this little piece of white. And so what we need to do now is we're going to stamp a greeting, and we're going to do it with a little bit of a trick because we only need one word. We only need one word. And so let me find where it sits in here. You deserve a treat, old friends. Oh, my eyesight. Let's see. Which one is it in here? Friends. Old friends are the best friends. Oh, here we go. Oh my gosh, you guys. I feel like the eyesight, right? Holy smokes. So we are going to only need the one word of friends on here to make this greeting. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take my whole greeting and I'm just going to put it on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that really great Post-it tape, right? I'm going to take that really great Post-it tape and I am going to attempt to cover up. Like I said, my eyesight is so sketchy and questionable. And I suppose I could use, I could just use a marker. We're just going to use a marker. I don't feel confident in my ability to do that. And we actually have an early espresso marker. Let's just keep it easy, right? This is one of the reasons I like these markers. I think that they make things just a wee bit easier than going through all the fuss. Like I said, I'm crafting this for the first time right along with you, so we're going to find some things together, aren't we? All right, I'm just going to turn it over and make sure. All right, perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that on the little piece of white that we had. Oh, and you can see that turned out absolutely perfectly. So good, yay for us. And then we're just going to go ahead and cut that out. This, to me, not even worth putting in the paper cutter. I think we can eyeball this close enough that we will be just fine. Now, I know some of you are not eyeballers, and that is okay. You guys do it however it makes you feel good. There's no one right way to do any of this, right? So we're just going to take that. We need a little bit of adhesive on the back corner of that one, and so we're going to go ahead and put that right there. And then we have 2 more leaves for the front, so we're going to go ahead and place those as well. And so I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on one of them. I'm going to tell you that by project number 4, who knows where things are going to be in this. It's going to be a little scary. It's going to just be a wee bit scary, not going to lie. We're going to put that one there. We'll put a little bit of adhesive on this guy as well. And we're just going to go ahead and stick that right in there. Okay, so we have the front of that card. So super easy. Now we're going to open it up and we're going to do the inside of that card. So let's get that stamp set out and let's find which one we're going to use. So for this particular project, we'll put this one here. We're going to use this one right here. It's going to say the front said friends, and the inside is going to say the best kind of days are stays spent together. Very sweet, sweet sentiment, right? So we're going to go ahead and put that one on our block. And we've got our piece of white here, making sure that you guys can see what's going on. I should probably need to come right about there. That'll probably be easier for you. So we are going to use our Early Espresso stamp pad, and we are going to stamp that greeting. We're going to put it right at the top of this card here. All right. Love that font. It's so, like, it feels like so reminiscent and cozy, but it also feels very clean. So that is a very happy spot for me. We've got this great little Pooh and Piglet here, so we're going to put some adhesive on that one. Now, if you got your kid and you're like, oh, I'm not going to die cut until I'm like sit down to do it all, I'm going to tell you, you'll drive yourself crazy. This is definitely one of those kits that put on your favorite Netflix or your podcast that you're listening to and like get at it, because otherwise you're just gonna you'll never get your mojo going. Like you'll be stopping and starting and stopping and starting, and I think that can feel very, very frustrating. Look at how cute that is. All right, so we're going to put this on the inside of our card, so we'll go ahead and add our adhesive. And this is going to go right here. So then we just close that fella up, and we're going to do one more thing. Actually, maybe 2 more things on here. We're going to come in with a little bit of ribbon. So when you got your kit, you got a roll of the Peaceful Pine ribbon, and so we are going to take that and just put it around this flap and give ourselves a nice little bow. Now, you guys also got linen thread in your Craft Along kit. If you would like to use that here to tie something up, I'm not a huge linen thread user, but my friends who I crafted with, they are very into the linen thread. I think it's really pretty. For me, I just like things a little bit cleaner, so you do it however you want. If you would like to add some linen thread in there, please have at it. We gave you a whole roll, so you are going to have plenty to use on this particular card. All right, and then the next part, let's make sure our ribbon is all good there. All right, I mean, look at how cute that is. That turned out so darling. So of course the next little part is to come in with some embellishments. And so we have our in color embellishments, and so you got a whole packet of them, so you can really do whatever you want here in terms of creating a nice little focal point or a little bit of zhuzhing on it. Perfectly up to you what you want that to look like, so please just sprinkle them as you feel good about that. And that, my friends, is project number 1. Isn't that so cute? So again, opens up here. Really, really sweet. And like I said, once you have that die cutting done, that one feels pretty stinking easy, right? Comes together really, really well. The directions were really great. Key is to cut that, is cutting that envelope. And like I said, I would just measure it with my scissor, or measure it. Oh, look at nice random embellishment. I would just use my ruler first and make sure that I've got a really good, let me turn you around here so while I'm talking. I would just make sure that you're using your ruler and you're making your marks first. That way when you put it into the cutter, it's just going to be so much easier rather than trying to measure and cut at the same time. I don't think that is the easiest of things to do. So I was thinking anytime we can make things a little bit easier for ourselves, the answer is yes. The answer is going to be yes. All right, so we are going to go on now to card number 2. Are you guys ready? This is so fun. Oh my gosh, I'm having a blast. All right, card 2. Now this card is going to be very easy because I designed this card, so I know exactly what I'm doing. I hope. We'll see. We will see, won't we? So card 2. So we've got our pieces. So we have a card base of hydrangea. Oh, let me turn it around so you can actually see what I'm talking about. All right, so we have a card base of hydrangea hue. We have a longer piece of Peaceful Pine. We have a piece of the Designer Series paper here. Then we have, oops, let's see. There it is. Always one trickster left in there. 2 pieces of Designer Series paper that are the same. One that's a little bit shorter. And then we've got the honey pots, and we've got Pooh with the honey. So this one needs a little something special. So I'm going to take these pieces. Actually comes together really easy. There's just one little part that's going to be a little bit more time intensive. And so I'm just taking a piece of paper. I've already got ink on it. It's no big shake. And I'm going to take this die cut. This is in Very Vanilla, and we are going to go in with our Golden Glow stamp pad, and we are going to use our blender brush. Now typically when you are using your blender brush, you come over here and then you start, because you want it to look really even. I don't want this to look even. I want this to look really rustic. It's Golden Glow on here. I want it to look like honey and rich and such. So we're just going to go ahead and pick up, and then we're just going to come on. And don't worry if it's darker in some spots than others, because we're just going to keep working that ink in there, and it is going to be absolutely lovely. So again, we want it to look real cloudy, real dreamy. Now, if you are someone who likes things a little bit more particular, this is your card. You get to do whatever you want with it. So you do it however feels good for you. That, for me, is about where I'm going to go with it. So very, very simple on this one. All right, next thing we're going to do here is we are going to take, I better just look at my directions so it's my card. You'd think I know, but I just want to be sure what I'm doing. All right, so we are going to come in here, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a bow on this. I think it's easiest to put the bow first, and we are going to use Peaceful Pine. And here's what how I like to do this. I'm going to take it and put it along here, and if you can see, let's get rid of that guy. This little knob here, right? That is going to be the longest part of this. And so we're going to put that there. We're going to put that there. I'm going to come in with my scissors, and I'm just going to cut that so we know about where that sits. Now, what I think is easiest is I'm going to put a line of adhesive right in the middle there. That is a terrible line, Lisa. Right in the middle there. If at first you don't succeed, throw your tape. No, I'm not going to throw my tape. So I'm going to put that right there. And then I'm just going to turn it over, and I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive here so we can just wrap it. It's a little tricky if you're tying it to make that little rounded space work as well. So I feel like if we just adhere it, I think you're going to give yourself a lot more grace. It'll be much, much easier to do that with. And so we've got that on there. Now we're going to put a little greeting down here. So let me grab my greeting set again. And this one says, "You deserve a little treat." So that is the one we're going to get out. It's a nice, long, thin one. Here we go. So we're just going to come in. Let's see what I need. This one is perfect. And you can do this either in Peaceful Pine or Early Espresso. If you don't have the new Peaceful Pine, feel free to use your Early Espresso on this. So we're just going to come in, ink that guy up, and we're going to come right underneath that ribbon. You deserve a little treat. Isn't that so cute? And it'll be so cute when you see what we're putting with it for our embellishments. So we've got that there, and now we've got those sweet little honey pots, and so those are going to go over to the right, and they're going to go right on top of that ribbon. And so we're going to put our adhesive on there, and you do want to come with a nice amount of adhesive because it has to stick to the ribbon and the cardstock. So you almost want to cover the whole back of it. All right, and then we're just going to go ahead and put him over here. And then we've got Sweet Little Pooh, right? So Sweet Little Pooh is going to be over there. And so let me just see. I think I want to move him over just a wee bit. Here's the nice thing. These guys are so sturdy that you can just do it however you want. I just want to leave room for my pretty ribbon. So if I know that he's going to sit here, let's put those honey pots right here. All right, and he needs some dimensionals. Pooh is the main, he has main character energy, right? He is the boss, he is the deal. So we're going to put some adhesive on, some pop-up dimensionals on him so that he pops a little bit. And then we can put him right there. All right, so that is how that sits. We're going to add a little bow right here. And so rather than trying to tie it around and tie a bow, I felt like that was just very was a lot. It didn't lay right. So we're just going to create a bow separately and then attach it. No one's going to know. No one's going to know. So we're just going to do it that way. So we'll go ahead and pull this through. Make our bow how we want here. All right, and then we're just going to trim that. And you don't need a really long tail because there is not with that one though. I have a ribbon on my scissors so that I know which one I'm supposed to be using to cut ribbon because these are so good. For those of you in the know, these sweet little scissors are coming back. They are coming back. They are going to be in the July exclusive. And so if you're like me, I'm going to buy like 100 of them so that I always have them. And I'm just going to attach Pooh right there. And so I think I'm going to come in with a little bit of green glue. And put that right there. Isn't that just the cutest focal point? Oh, be still my heart. And that you do have to give it a little sticky stick to make sure it stays. Yeah, she's not going to stay. All right. We're going to call in the big guns. Let's see if we can use a dimensional and see if that's going to work better. Always tricky to get ribbon to stick on ribbon, isn't it? All right, let's try this. Because we do not have a day to clip that and have it wait for us. We need it to be ready to go. All right, there we go. So you've got that really beautiful ribbon there, and that is going to be your focal point. So let's show you how this card comes together. We've done all of the work. Now it is just assembly. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our piece of Peaceful Pine and we are going to fold it in half. And just give that a little zhuzh there. All right, we're going to take our piece of striped, and your stripes may be going the opposite way. Kind of depends on how you cut it. I don't think there were clear directions on how you need to cut it. Makes no difference. It's going to be really darling either way. So your stripes are going to go here, and then we have our piece of Hydrangea Hue. Now we're going to take these two equally long pieces and they are going to sit on the sides. And then this piece of folded is going to sit in the middle. So I like to kind of play with it before I put anything down. Like, am I in the generally right area? I feel like that feels really good. So now I'm going to just move that a little bit and I'll put my adhesive on here and stick that down. I think it's easy to get it off a little bit if you eyeball it, and then it's going to look a little wonky. But I don't really want to be like, oh, measure, 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 measure. To me, that takes away some of the fun, but I know some of you are big measurers, so like I said, I think you do it however feels good for you. So we're going to go ahead and put that on the hydrangea hue, and then we're going to take this guy, more adhesive here, and we're going to put him right in the middle. We've got this piece of Very Vanilla, and this is going to be the inside of our card where you'll be able to do whatever writing you would like to do. So we'll go ahead, open that up. We're going to put this right in here. And I do want to show you this sweet little trick to turn a card into a gift card holder. So that goes there, and then this is just going to sit right on the top there. So we're going to turn him over and put some dimensionals on that embellishment. Ooh. So we'll go just like this. We'll pop him up nice, and I am keeping those dimensionals to the inside, to the middle of that piece, because this is going to have a little bit of hangover, and so we don't want it to stick to our card and then it won't open. So we're just going to come in here and put that guy right there. All right, now we know it needs a little zhuzhing, right? So if you were here we go. So we're going to go with a couple of embellishments on this one as well. So these are the hydrangea hue. The nice thing is that this set really was designed to showcase all of the pretty new in colors, which I also love. Like, so clever, right? All right, so this is your card, but I want to show you a little trick here. One of the things that I love to do is sometimes when I need a gift card, I don't want to necessarily make a brand new card if I've got something that I really like sitting there. So all you need is a little piece of paper here, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of adhesive on either side, and we're going to put this right at the bottom here, and you now have the perfect spot to slip a little gift card. So it's so nice because it says you deserve a little treat, and then you can put the little gift card in there for the little treat. Isn't that so cute? I think that is so fun. Well, of course I do. I made it, so you know that I loved it, right? So very, very cute, very simple. Once you get that main embellishment done, you're really good to go on that. All right, my friends, card 3, how are we feeling? So this one I have not made. So this one will also be an adventure that we will be taking together, which I love. Like, I think that is so fun to, you know, learn how to do some things together. All right, what do we need? We need the Early Espresso ink pad. We have our embellishments. Oh, we are going to use some linen thread here, so let's see. All right, so let's take things out and see what is what here. So we have a very long piece of Designer Series paper. Lots going on in here. We have a piece of Peaceful Pine. We have an image cut out, a label image cut out from Peaceful Pine. We have a piece of Very Vanilla. We have another piece of Peaceful Pine. We have a smaller piece of Very Vanilla. 2 pieces of that really beautiful Star Designer Series paper. And then we've got all little fellas here. All those little fellas, little honey pot, all sorts of things that we're going to use. Did not leave anything behind in that one. So let us see where this says to start. We're going to do this one together. So the Peaceful Pine, this is going to be our card base. All right, so we have that as the base. The next one is we're going to take our 4x12 piece of Designer Series paper. So that is going to be this guy. I want to make sure the trees are facing the right way. And we're going to score it at 2.5 and 6 3/4. Ooh, 2.5 and 6. Just let's all keep our fingers crossed that I do it right, right? Score the long side. So we're going to park our cutting blade. I feel like, you know what? Here's where we're going to get confused. I'm left-handed, so I need to turn my paper upside down, because otherwise, that's why I was like, that doesn't look right to me. But because I'm left-handed, I believe this is how we're going to go with it. All right, say a little prayer. 2.5 and then 6 3/4. So I think that I use my cutter upside down, which I'm pretty sure you guys have figured out if you've watched me long enough. Yes, I think that is how we want to do it. So word to the wise, us lefties, we gotta turn the paper the other way or we're gonna be all confused. So we're gonna go ahead and score that, and then this piece is going to be attached right here. So we're going to put some adhesive on the back of that. Does that make sense to everybody when I talk about the cutting and the scoring? That I'm pretty sure it's because I'm left-handed that I use it upside down from how a lot of people use it. And so we always have to make sure. I was like, I don't think those numbers are going to be right for me. I never thought of that before. That probably makes a lot of sense. So this goes like this. Do you guys see that? Right? So good. All right. That is where we're starting from. So now we have this and this. So let's see, I know we're going to be working with those two pieces next. This one is this is also a gift card holder. So I love that. All right, and we are going to take our Peaceful Pine. We're going to be using our labels here. So this is our Peaceful Pine. And we have to just get that linen thread started. Is that not the trickiest part? Like, where's the beginning of the linen thread? All right, so we're going to take our Peaceful Pine and we are going to wrap it around this die. So it's going to sit just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead, what I'm going to do again is I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive there to hold onto my ribbon so that it's not quite so tricky to work with. So we'll go ahead and attach that, and then we'll pull it up, and we'll cut that. And then what we're going to do here is we are going to use our linen thread, and we're just going to tie these together at the top. Super cute. Again, some of these things I don't think about when I'm stamping, and so I think it's one of the reasons. Someone said, oh, I heard from someone, and they were like, I don't like to do card kits because to me, the whole thing is to like come up with ideas on my own and stuff like that. And I do think that is very fun, like to just kind of sit down and play and come up with your own ideas. But sometimes it's nice to have something that someone else did and you're like, I never thought of using it that way. Or, oh gosh, like I don't use my ribbon like that. Or I never even thought of using that product. It's usually what happens with me. I'm like, where'd you get that? Did we even carry that? So I love to do kits and cards that other people have done, classes that other people have designed, because I think it really does help so much. All right, so we've got our other piece here, and this is going to get layered here, but let's stamp that first, because otherwise I think we're going to run into a little bit of a pickle if we don't stamp that first. So let me just make sure which one we're going to use. So this is going to be The Best Kinds of Days Are Spent Together. So let's pull out. I told you we're going to reach that point where I'm going to be like, where's my stamp set? Where's my this? Where's my that? All right, we have to get it just a wee bit more organized here. Goodness gracious, Lisa. All right, what did I say? The best kinds of days are days spent together. Oh, if you only knew. I have this. So so funny. So yesterday I was like hustling between things that I was doing. We're going to use early espresso here. And I was like, oh, I need to get some lunch. And most of the times it's just me in the house, me and the dog. And so I was like, oh, I need something else. So I actually said out loud to myself, oh, you know what? I need something else. Cheese. And I just like burst out laughing. I'm like, oh my gosh, you can tell I'm a Wisconsin girl. What do I need? I need cheese. So yeah, that was kind of funny. I thought I got a good little giggle out of that. All right. So now what we're going to do is we are going to put some embellishments on this guy. So we're going to start with Pooh. And so Pooh's going to go over in this corner. And then I believe we're going to have Eeyore. Oh, sweet little Eeyore. Doesn't everyone have a soft, maybe it's just me. I have such a soft spot for Eeyore. I think he is just so cute. And then we're going to also use the honey pot on this one. All right, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to use my dimensionals just to pop them up a little bit. So we'll go ahead and do that. I mean, doesn't everyone talk to themselves? I don't know if everyone's like excited when they yell out cheese, but I feel like it's just one of those things. I'm always so glad the dog is there. The dog's probably like, what in the world, Lisa? You are a goofball. But he's always happy when there's cheese, right? He's like, yes, ma'am. Let's get some cheese. Ay, ay, ay. All right. And then we're going to put our little friend Eeyore up there. So look at how cute that is. So darling. And then what we're going to do is we are going to adhere it to that Peaceful Pine panel that we did. And we're going to use some more embellishments on, dimensionals on that. Now you guys know that I typically use a lot of embellishments when I card make because I like very simple cards. And I feel like it gives that extra layer, and layer is texture and texture is interest. But even on these that feel a little bit more involved for me, I think it just gives you that little bit extra that we want and need to make something feel really, really special. So that is what we have there. All right, let's take a peek here at how we're doing. We're going to take this piece of Very Vanilla. I just want to measure, and it's going to sit this way. So it's going to be a little bit longer here. And we're going to take the same You Deserve a Treat. And we're going to do that in Early Espresso as well, because this is also a gift card holder. So is that not the most perfect to be a gift card holder? So we'll put that right up top. You deserve a little treat. And then we're going to use those honey pots at the bottom. All right, but before we do that, we're going to come here. I think we're going to put this guy down. I think we're good to put this one down. And then these little strips, we're just going to give that a little embellishment at the bottom. It just gives it that little extra layer of interest. So we'll go ahead and put that right at the bottom of that piece. And then we're going to go ahead and put our honey pots on there. And I am going to put, even though this is on the inside of the card, I think we can handle a little pop here. So we'll put our dimensionals on there. We'll put that right in the middle. Super cute. Right now, over here, we're going to go ahead and put this piece down here as well, right at the bottom, so that it kind of lines up with our other one that we did. All right, so we'll put that right there. And then we're going to take this piece of Peaceful Pine, and I am going to grab a circle punch. I don't think it really matters which circle punch you have, but this is that Peaceful Pine, and we're just going to go ahead and do a little notch out of it. Woo! Right, so just a little notch out of it. Get that out. And again, since we're going to slip a gift card in here, we're not going to put any adhesive in the middle. We're just going to put the adhesive at the edges. And then we're just going to put that right over that. All right. So let me just make sure what we're doing here. And then we're going to put Sweet Little Owl. Don't you? I feel like Owl gets overlooked. Owl and Kanga. I'm like, Owl and Kanga were the best. I just loved, Kanga and Roo. I know. I'm such a sap. I'm such a sap. I just think this is like the absolute cutest. So we're going to put that right there. So this is going to fold up. And we're just going to adhere this right there, and we are good to go. Hey, that turned out pretty cute. I am very impressed by us, my friends. I am very impressed by us. I think that turned out really, really sweet. And again, that ribbon, always a little bit of a stinker, so we'll put a little few extra dimensionals on there to make sure things stick. And we'll close this up. And again, look at how cute that is. Perfect place for a little gift card there. Oh, except, yeah, I'll do it this way. Otherwise, Eeyore's butt is right in Owl's face. So just let's sit it this way. I think that's probably the better way to go. I got a little carried away there. So that is so cute. So that is project number 3. You guys, we're flying by. I'm so proud of us. Awesome. All right, let's close a couple of these things up because, you know, I don't do well with chaos. I don't do well with chaos. And so if things aren't picked up and put away, I don't know. It's funny because I call it visual clutter. So I think there's like different kinds of clutter, right? Like you can have mental clutter, you can have organizational clutter. But to me, when things are just like sitting out in places, like anytime you have somebody at your house and they've like put their purse down in a place where you're like, that's not where you put your purse, right? Or someone like takes their shoes off and puts it somewhere where you don't have people putting their shoes. I am not gonna lie, that is a little trick for me. When I don't have things how I'm used to having them, I get very anxious. I am someone who needs like their counters clean, not a lot of zhuzhing, not a lot of fun stuff there, because it'll make me super nervous. I think that's just that control. We could talk for days about that. We could definitely talk for days, couldn't we? All right, loved that project. That was so super cute. Very happy with that. Oh, the next one is also one by me. And I think you have seen, if you followed along, you may have seen this fold once, and it is so cute. So you're going to see it again, and you're going to love it. You're going to love it. Really, really fun. So let's pull out project number 4. So this is card 4. So let me give you the camera angle here so we can craft along together. So card 4. So let's take out our pieces and see what we have. Oh, look at all those friends. So many friends. Probably more friends than we need, but can you ever have too many friends? I don't know. All right, so we have our larger piece of Peaceful Pine, little bit smaller piece of Golden Glow. We have a piece of Very Vanilla, and then we have 2 pieces of Designer Series paper. These are the same size. One larger one, which is, this is so beautiful because you get several pieces like this that create the background for you. So that works out really, really easy. We've got the label, and then we've got all of our friends. So we're going to put all of our friends to the side because I feel like they're going to come in last. We're going to put this label that probably needs some stamping. I think we're going to assemble first. So let's assemble first. Even though this is my card, we're going to follow the directions. All right, Peaceful Pine. It says that we are going to score this at 5.5. So that is what we're going to do. We're going to take that piece of Peaceful Pine, we're going to score it at 5.5. And that is going to be our card base. We'll go ahead and fold that, so that is all set to go. Now, this piece of Golden Glow is what we're going to do next. Score that at 2.5, and then 5. And I think that's the trickiest part of the whole thing. So this guy is folded, and then we're just going to fold this one. And so it's going to be folded in half, and then this part's going to be folded down. All right, you see how that works? So we're going to fold it in half, and then that next one gets folded down. So those are where we're going to start with. And again, I just want to make sure I do this the right way for you, so we're going to follow some directions. All right. So when you put this card together, let me pull you up a little bit, see if you can see a little bit better from here. So when you put this card together, this is your card base. So that is going to lay flat, and then this one is actually going to sit on it. So this is going to sit on top of it. And so what we need to do is we're going to attach this piece right here. All right, so this is the piece that's going to go in the front right here. All right, so let me do that part first. I just think that these fuller size images are so good. I think they are just so, so perfect. So we're going to put that there, and then we're going to take our 2 pieces of the map, and those are going to sit right here. So we can go ahead and adhere those as well. So we have this going just like this. So this piece, just like that. All right, and then we're going to take our piece of Peaceful Pine that we have. We know we need an inside, so that Very Vanilla is going to be the inside of the card. So we'll go ahead and put that here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to join these two pieces together. So this folds, and this is going to be put right on top, and that's what's going to create that really fun fold out. So we'll go ahead and put our adhesive here as well. I love this fold because it's very, very impressive, but it's really, really easy. It's just like, what, 3 score lines is all you're doing. So I think that can be really, really fun. All right, so we've got that on here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some of our friends. And so I feel like Winnie, come on over here, buddy. All right, so Winnie the Pooh is going to sit, and he is going to be thinking on by his tree, right? Remember that think? I love that. I know, my kids are at the age, this is what we grew up with. Like, this was, in fact, we were talking just last night about Halloween costumes, and we had a Winnie the Pooh Halloween costume for when Will, who is now 31, when he turned 1, we had a little, because he's a Halloween baby, and so we had that. It was so cute. So we want to make sure that when we see him, we can see him from our fold, right? So we want to have him up right there. So I think that is going to be just perfect. And then we're going to go ahead, we're going to grab Tigger, and we're going to grab Sweet Piglet, and we are going to grab Eeyore, okay? And those are the ones that we're going to work with next. So yeah, so we had a Winnie the Pooh really sweet costume. Actually, both boys wore when they were 1, which was so cute. Like, we were Pooh was a big deal in our house. So we're gonna put Tigger right here. All right, and then the next one we're gonna put on is Eeyore, and Eeyore is gonna be up just a little bit so that he's kind of looking over the fold here. So we'll put him right there, and then Piglet's gonna need a couple dimensionals to get popped up here. So what I loved about this paper too is that it wasn't like, oh gosh, I'm starting from, I've got to stamp all these and color all these and punch all these. The paper does the work for you. You can certainly stamp and color in whatever you like, but I was really a big fan of the fact that there was a whole sheet and you could just die cut the whole sheet and get all of your little creatures, and I thought that was just really, really fun. Now we're going to open it up, and we are going to go with Rabbit down at the bottom. It's funny now, I mean, I have grandkids, and they're more into like Mario Kart and Paw Patrol and all of this stuff. I think because there's videos where when we were little, my kids were little, I guess there were Pooh videos, weren't there? There were Pooh videos. But I don't know, it feels so sweet, feels so innocent. And then we're just going to put a little greeting right here. So we have this label that we pre-cut. We're going to save Tigger and Kanga for another time. And we're going to grab our greeting. Old friends are the best friends, which is such a good thing to send to anybody for their birthday, right? Old friends are the best friends. And so this you could stamp really in any color that you loved. Early Espresso is going to be really good. Or like Peaceful Pine, those would be the two that I would go with. I'm going to go Peaceful Pine on this one. And we'll just put that right in the middle. Perfect. Get that out of the way. And then we're just going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on that as well. You guys can see, I love dimensionals. They are probably one of my favorite products. Although if you were crafting with me yesterday or the day before, I literally have like 6 half-used sheets of those sitting around. It was so crazy. All right, and then we're going to come in with our little bit of embellishment here as well. And I always like to use an off color, like a color that we're picking up somewhere. And Pooh is definitely this beautiful little blush. or excuse me, Piglet is. And so we're just going to go with those 3. And so this card, so it opens, oh, hold on. Goodness sakes. So it opens this way, and then it also opens this way. So really fun, very, very easy once you get those little cuts down. But that is card 4, you guys. We did a great job. We are just shy of an hour. I'm so proud of you. So I will be here tomorrow, Thursday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time with 4 more projects, actually 4 more cards. And then Friday, I will be here at 3 o'clock, and we're going to do 4 3D projects that are so, so cute, all highlighting this. So like I said, if you want in on this tutorial, you can just put tutorials below. You can email me at handstampedwithlisa@gmail.com. $25 for all 12 projects. So super fun. So thank you for joining me. This was so fun. And stay tuned, because we are going to do a Christmas in July craft along as well. And so that's definitely something you're going to want to be a part of as well. So my friends, thank you for joining me. I will hopefully see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Reach out with any questions that you have. Make it a great one.